Is Trix Ingado. Now we start off the diary with our reporter Ibrahim Karanja in Nakuru with an update on the election timelines, days to the election. Kariuki, good morning. What's good? Ibrahim Karanja, if you can hear me.
Good morning. Trix, yes, I can hear you. It is a time when the general election are quickly, approaching. And aspirants, political parties, and all players, including the the Independent and Election and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, sorry for that, is preparing to just ensure that they hit everything correctly in terms of timelines. Timelines that range from what the IEBC is supposed to have been doing by now to what aspirants are supposed to be doing, what political parties are supposed to be doing, as well as eyes also in the courts. Remember, various matters touching on elections are currently waiting for determination and rulings in the court. So the election calendar in this particular year, which is something that everyone now needs to listen to, is that we are officially in that election period since the IEBC officially gazetted the notice on a general election. That is, they did that gazette notice, Vide Gazette Notice number 14, on the 20th of February this year, of January rather, this year. Yes, 20th of January this year, the IEBC gazetted that already there is a general election notice. Now that binds every player in the election, coming from political aspirants to political parties, to now follow strictly the election code of conduct, as well as all laws related to the election. There are also other things that need to be taken care of or looked at in terms of timelines right now, Tricks, in that the IEBC, as we speak, even as it approaches to complete the continuous voter registration, which is supposed to end on the 28th of this month, that is February, the IEBC should by now be commencing the audit of the voter register, an exercise which sort of looks like an uphill task for the IEBC, because the last time they confirmed, Commissioner Gulie stated that the commission was yet to get an audit firm from all the firms that had applied to conduct this particular exercise. But in law and by the timelines, the IEBC right now should be conducting an audit of the voter register, or if not by now, at least upon completion of the continuous voter registration. Remember, there is a difference between the continuous voter registration and the enhanced continuous voter registration, which was concluded on the 6th of February. After that conclusion, when IEBC went all out to have people register, and at the end of the day, they had at least in excess of 1 million voters registering, they started a continuous voter registration exercise, which has been ongoing, and this time will be ending on the 28th of February, after which the IEBC will now officially commence the audit of the voter register. Of course, they will communicate to us if by now they have gotten an appropriate firm to conduct that audit exercise, after which Tricks also, the eyes will also be in the courtrooms as from early March, that is on the 7th of March, when the High Court will be giving directions on that petition by Salesio Thuranira on the Political Parties Amendment Act, or the recently assented to amendments of the Political Parties Act. Remember, various amendments were done on the Political Parties Act of 2011 in respect to the 2022 general election. President Uhuru Kenyatta assented to those amendments on the 27th of January, and as a result, Salesio Thuranira, a member of the Chama cha Kazi and also an aspirant for the Senate seat in Meru, went to court to try and challenge those particular amendments, owing to the fact that he says that the Parliament did an unconstitutional act in terms of defining what a political party is, in terms of Article 260 of the Constitution of Kenya, what defines a political party, and thus Parliament introduced the term coalition political party. Also, he said that by the move by Parliament to actually amend the Political Parties Act and touching the Principal Act and some provisions of the Constitution was also sort of infringing on his rights as a citizen and his political rights stipulated in Article 38 of the Constitution. So the High Court in Nairobi will be giving a direction, or when the matter comes up for mention on the 7th of March, on whether there will be temporary stay orders on that particular Political Parties Act. Remember, if there will be any stay orders on the Political Parties Act, then it will play a great deal on how political parties approach this particular election. Various parties are depending on coalitions as they head to the election, and there are, according to the Political Parties Amendments Act now, any person who intends to vie on a political party must be a member of that particular political party by the 26th of March. That, of course, will be dependent on the ruling or the direction by the court on the 7th of March. Lastly, an important date also in the courts that we are looking for is for the members of county assembly who intend to vie as members of parliament. Remember, there is that matter in court touching on Clement Oibara and Wanjiko Kibe, the member of parliament for Gatundu North, and the matter will be coming up in the court for directions on the 30th, let me get the date right for you, Tricks. The matter on whether MCAs are supposed to have resigned will be coming up on 18th of March in the courts again. And this is what most MCAs are looking at, whether the court will rule that if at all they are supposed to resign, if they'll be vying for MP seat or not, if at all they will continue to the end of their term. So far, the IEBC has stated that the MCAs should be resigning once or before they present their nomination papers. But of course, the IEBC again promising to give further directions upon the ruling of the court on the 18th of March. And that might give a reprieve for MCAs or might actually deal a blow to the MCAs on how they will conduct their campaigns moving forward, even as they seek to go for higher office. Tricks. Remember, if anyone fails to abide by the dates set in law, then they risk being technically knocked out of the election. And this is what we shall be looking at in the coming weeks. Tricks.
Now, I'd like to get a clarification on those dynamics, especially with regards to the MCAs. What exactly is at stake? What is the general consensus on the ground? What do they want?
Well, Tricks, remember Section 43, 5 and 6 of the Elections Act stated that any civil servant who needed to vie for an elective post must have resigned 6 months to the general election. This was on February 9th for many civil servants, and we saw them resigning. And that section in particular had exempted MCAs from resigning. But Article 99B of the Constitution on qualifications to run, qualification on election to run as member of parliament, states that you are disqualified to run as member of parliament if you are a sitting member of the county assembly. And that is what Clement Oibara in the Gatundu North case went to challenge in the 2017 election against Wanjiko Kibe, stating that Wanjiko Kibe was irregularly elected because she was an MCA by the time she was vying to be MP. And that is a matter that has not yet been decided by the court. Of course, the High Court initially had ruled that Wanjiko Kibe was irregularly elected, but Wanjiko Kibe appealed that particular decision, and it is what will be coming up for determination, and the ruling will be given on the 18th of March. If the court rule that MCAs ought to resign before vying for elections, then for a higher seat, that is a member of National Assembly seat, then very many other MCAs will have to resign, those who are actually eyeing this seat. But if the court rules that MCAs will have to rule or to still be in office to the end of their term, because according to the Constitution, the term of a county assembly starts on the date of swearing in to the date of the other general election, then it will be a reprieve